Coming up on Bible Bro Relationship Edition.
If you can't honor the father, you can't have the daughter. That's just how it is. If you can't honor the father, then you don't deserve the daughter. That's just real talk. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Khristian Dentley, and welcome to a very special episode of Bible Bro Relationship Edition. What makes this episode so very special? Well, as you can see, my beautiful wife is not with me. I'm actually on tour with the fellas right now. Take 6. We are in St. Petersburg, Russia. Now, don't believe the hype. Russia is beautiful. This hotel is legit. You know, they're treating us very nicely. But anyway, so we are wrapping up our Christmas tour 2019. And my wife is back at home holding down the fort while I'm gone, but I miss her so much. I've been gone for a little while, quite some time. Miss her, miss Christian Michael, man. People don't understand. I am a family man, and there's nothing that I would trade for being a very present husband and a very present father. I love what I do, what I get to do, and the places that I get to travel around the world with Take 6. And my own ministry is a blessing. I mean, it is amazing to be able to be in these places. Like we have a show here tonight in St. Petersburg. Tomorrow we fly to Armenia, and places that some people will never go. God allows me to go pretty much every year with this incredible group. But at the same time, I love my family, and there's no replacement for me being home, being a present husband and a present father. And so that said, I miss them very much, and we all miss our families. So it's really, but it's really cool that we get to do these things. So in this very special Bible Bro Relationship Edition, I'm going to talk about how me and Adrian got together. She's not here to defend herself, so I'm able to say whatever it is that I want to say about this story. Not just kidding. I try to give an accurate depiction from my perspective, but if she was sitting right here, I would be saying the same things. But in sharing my story of how Adrian and I got together, hopefully this will be an encouragement to somebody out there who maybe you've been married before and you've been divorced and you're currently waiting on God to send you your promise and a spouse. So Adrian and I have been friends. Now, let me right there, let me go ahead and insert something parenthetically. Amen. Adrian and I's story is going to be very, very different than most people's stories. And this doesn't mean that God's going to do exactly what he did for us, for you, but just trusting God's faithfulness to do what is necessary for you to be in a relationship that's for your good and for his glory. So Adrian and I met years and years and years ago. I was 5, I believe, when our parents actually are friends. Both pastored. My dad, her dad, both pastored in South Carolina. My dad and mom were in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and her parents still pastor actually in Anderson, South Carolina. And so my dad, being a musician, her dad being a musician, met at a music store, Haynes Music, actually in Gaffney, South Carolina. And when they met, they hit it off and started hanging out together because we were probably just about an hour apart, from the different cities. And so I met Adrian and her family when I was 5 years old. And at 7 years old, she became my first crush, my first real crush. I mean, just can't help myself around her, just smiling and just nervous. And every time we would pull up to their church parking lot, I just get giddy and just because my brother and I played for with my dad in the band for the church, and oh my gosh, I was that kid that was sitting over there just smiling ear to ear and was like, just making up songs about her when we leave. When they would come and visit our church, I would just be different, and so that's really cool that all these years later, it's amazing that God would bring it full circle that I would actually be married to my first crush, which is crazy. So, but here's the thing, Adrian is 4 years older than I am. So I didn't think that I didn't think that obviously she felt the same way that I felt. And so I could not be around her and her family as much as we were around them, because even my brother and I would go up to their church for the summer for like a week during the summer and play for their youth conference. And so I can't spend all this time around her and just be like, so I mean, I had to put the whole desire to like be her little boyfriend or whatever aside and really focus on our brother and sister relationship. And that's exactly what we did, so I mean, it was real cool. I could be around her, we could trip, we became really authentic, good, genuine friends, and our friendship was like second to none. It was super cool. And that was a good learning moment for me, because and this might be a good learning moment for you. If what you feel for that person is not reciprocated, keep it moving. If what you feel for that person is not reciprocated, keep it moving. They may love you as a brother in the Lord, but you may want to love them as a sister in the bed. I'm just not in the bed, but you know what I'm saying? Like deeper than just the love you with the love of the Lord. But if they don't reciprocate that same feeling and that emotion, don't force your feelings on them. Don't push them into a position where you're trying to force them into a relationship to feel things that they don't actually feel, because that's going to end up in disaster if you're not careful. So that said, Adrian and I became really good friends, but you got to fast forward to 1996. Oh my God, that was a good year. Summer Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, the dream team. It was great, but that was also the year, earlier in that year, when my brother and I got invited to Adrian's junior prom. Now, before I continue, I know that she's watching this and she's tripping right now because she's like, no, that's not how the story went. And so I'm going to clarify my understanding now and perception of the story. Now, my perception at the time was that me and my brother Greg and Adrian were going to the prom together as brothers and sisters, because that's how close we were. That's how close knit we were, number one. And that's how far I had put the desire of a relationship with her out of my head. I thought we was just, I was, suited up. She had two, nice looking young men going to the prom with, she was superstar that night, and she was all cute and stuff with a little bob hair. You better do it, girl. And so I literally thought that we were going just because we were just that close. Now, what her assertion is concerning this particular story is that she asked her dad if it was okay to ask me to go to the prom. All right. At the time, I'm 13 years old. So I'm like, I'm not even in high school yet, I don't think. But anyway, so she was going to ask her dad, can I go to the prom with her? Because she asked me to go to the prom with her. Her dad, in response, says, yeah, but I'm not driving you. And, she wasn't going to drive. So he was like, you need to ask his brother too, because Greg is old enough, he can drive, then he can drive everybody. So turns out Greg was actually the chauffeur. I had no idea. I'm just thinking, man, we having such a good time, a party together. This is so nice for our family relationship get up. This is wonderful. But that was the night that Adrian, learned that she had eyes for me. And I wasn't being anything but authentically myself. We went to this really cool Italian restaurant. Man, I'll never forget it. On the wall, there was like this like vine, like kind of thing. It was really cool. It was a really cool night. Went to the prom. It was great. I had a great time, but I didn't know that she started catching feelings that night for your boy. You know what I'm saying? I let your boy. I didn't know, but I found out years later when I was actually engaged to my first wife. Now, here's the part of the story that's going to get interesting, and I know some of you might get turned off by this, or you might be like, "Yo, God, y'all need to listen to this. Y'all need to share this thing, go live or something." There was a time where my dad, of course, like I said, our families were very close, and my dad ministered at her dad's church. Her dad ministers at my dad's church a lot. And so we were living in, was it Atlanta at the time? No, we weren't in Atlanta. We were in Fort Lauderdale at the time because I was engaged. And we went to, my dad had to speak at her dad's church. So I went with him, and I played piano behind him. And at the end of the service, there was a photographer there that was, taking pictures of people that were coming out of the service and things like that. And so I was walking out, and then Adrian says, let's take a picture together. And I'm like, cool, no sweat, let's take a picture together. And so the guy who's the photographer didn't know the nature of our relationship. Homies. He says, right before he takes the picture, man, y'all look good together. Y'all make a good couple. And then Adrian says out of her mouth, well, it's too late now. He didn't wait for me. I'm like, what did you just say? Yeah, you didn't wait for me. You're engaged now. You didn't wait for me. I'm like, what? What do you mean I didn't wait for you? You know I've always loved you. And then she says, I guess we'll never know. And that was it. Oh my God. You talking about flipping my world upside down? I did not even, I was shook for quite some time. I actually talked to my dad about it. I'm like, and I told him this story. He doesn't remember this story, but I remember this story vividly. I asked my dad about it because we drove back from Anderson, South Carolina to Orlando. To Fort Lauderdale where we were living at the time. And I said to him, I told him what happened, and he's like, son, you really can't pay, sometimes you can't pay women no attention. Sometimes they just say things to see what you would say or see how you react to certain things. So, don't pay no attention. So I was like, all right, no sweat, kept it moving. The world may never know. So that's where that story ends. Went ahead and married my first wife at the time, had a child in that relationship, and then things went south, like 10 years in or so, and finding myself in a position where I'm single again. Now, I communicated with Adrian to let her know that I was going to be having Christmas with my fam in Columbia, South Carolina. And this wasn't, I wasn't even thinking about a relationship with her because we really didn't keep in touch that much after I got married. And so every now and then we would catch up or whatever, but we really didn't keep in touch. We were just, like I said, we were really, really good friends. So I let her know that I was going to be in South Carolina for Christmas, and that it would be cool if we, caught up or whatever. We went to lunch or something. So we went to lunch, and I got a chance to tell her, what happened in my relationship, and, how the good things, the bad things, how it ended, and all this other kind of stuff. So while we were coming back to the house where she came and picked me up from, when she drove to meet me, we were sitting and we were talking about all these things, talking back to, just how we used to trip out together and all this other kind of stuff. And I told her about, okay, so here's the deal. I'm being totally honest with you guys because it's Bible Bro Relationship Edition, but I can't hide that from the people. All right. So remember that picture that I said that I took with Adrian at that particular service? Well, I had a digital copy of that picture, and I actually put it in a folder in my, I think it was my Gmail. It wasn't Gmail. It was probably my Hotmail account. So I would just put it in a receipts folder or whatever. Well, it just so happens that the picture got found. I'll say it like that. The picture got found, and this was like while I was still engaged. So it's a crazy story. It's a messy story, but since y'all like stuff like that, my fiance at the time was, I guess she was, looking through whatever, found something. She found the picture of me and Adrian and asked me about it. And it just like, huh? Because, some men are stupid, and I just didn't know how to respond, and just, what you talking about? I don't even know. Well, why did you hide it? Well, I didn't hide it. Well, it was in your receipts folder, in your email, in your Hotmail. And some people will say, well, why was you looking in this Hotmail? I understand. I didn't think about none of that. I was just like, I'm sorry. So I got in trouble basically for the picture. So when we were together all these years later, after that marriage had failed, Adrian and I were laughing about that situation. When I brought it, I was like, yeah, girl, you got me in trouble with that picture and such and such and such. Adrian made a statement. She said, man, whatever. I could have had you a long time ago. I was like, Well, excuse me? She's, I could have had you a long time ago. I'm like, what are you talking about? She was like, why do you think we went to the prom together? I'm like, well, we didn't go to the prom. We went to the prom. Greg was there too. And that's when she let me know what the deal was. She was like, you forgot. You were 13 and you couldn't drive. So that's the reason why your brother came, because he could drive. I was like, no. Nope. Nah. And the reason why I was doing that is because if this was not true, my heart couldn't take it. Because remember, I said she was my first crush. Heart couldn't take it. Don't lie. Lie not. Oh my God, to the man of God. My heart could not take it if this wasn't the truth. So I was like, nope. And she looked at me and she said, Khristian, you can be in denial all you want. And when she said that, I was like, you're serious, aren't you? She's like, yes. That was the night that I knew that I liked you. I've always loved you. I was like, what you say to me just now? My God. Now, her story is that she really struggled with even telling me that, because she was always taught that the man is supposed to pursue the woman, and that's traditionally and culturally how we do, and you know, we believe that. I believe that. But in this particular case, I had no idea, I had no inkling that she was into me, because I had put her in the sister category to protect my heart, just in case it didn't work out with her being my boo. So I was protecting me and I was protecting her, as what I thought. But she had to muster up the courage to let me know that if I really wanted a relationship with her, that it was open for discussion. And without that part of the conversation, we wouldn't be together today. So we started kicking it, you know what I'm saying? Started kicking it. And I remember when I made a decision that I was going to ask her, to be my official girlfriend. I flew to Atlanta and I drove past her house an hour and a half to South Carolina to meet with her dad. And I sat with her dad and I asked her dad for permission to date her. And my reasoning for doing that is, if you can't honor the father, you can't have the daughter. That's just how it is. If you can't honor the father, then you don't deserve the daughter. That's just real talk. If you can't honor her parents, then there's no reason why you should actually be given the opportunity to have a relationship with her. That's how I feel. There's a lot of people in relationships right now who they're dishonorable to the parents of the person that you're with. How you gonna date somebody that ain't never met your parents, they never talked to your parents? How you gonna be with somebody who your parents who loved you and nurtured you from the moment that you were conceived, who spent their life making sure that everything that you had need of was provided for to the best of their ability, and you're going to get in a relationship with somebody who does not even acknowledge them, who doesn't even make an effort to say, hey, I would like to talk to your daughter, or to meet your daughter. Back in the day when we used to call people's houses before everybody got cell phones, we used to have to go through somebody to get to the person that we want to talk to. You call the house, you answer, the father answers the phone, and he's like, hello, Mr. Johnson. My name is Khristian Dentley, and I go to school with your daughter. And is it okay if I give her a call? Is it okay if I speak with her? Nope. Click. We used to have to go through those things, and that taught us how to honor the parents of the people that we were interested in. So I was not going to and will never dishonor her parents. So I went and had a conversation with her dad, asking for permission to date her. And he gave me permission. And I told him that this is not a high school relationship. I'm not interested in just, a good time or a fling. My purpose of dating your daughter is to investigate deeper to see if she and I will be compatible as husband and wife. And he gave me permission to date. In fact, he said, you don't need to ask me to date your daughter. I said, oh, but I do. I said, when she gets married, the priest or the pastor is going to ask, who gives this bride away? Who gives this woman away? And you're going to say, I do. But until such time, she's still under your care. She is still your responsibility until she becomes her husband's. And so as such, I want to honor you and ask you for permission to date her. And he said, well, she the one that's going to have to say yes. And I'm like, well, I think that we got that, that got that covered. No, I was kidding. I said that, I said, well, I'll ask her. So that day, after getting the blessing of her father, because I flew into Atlanta super early because she was working. And by the time she got off work, I had already got my answer from her dad, and I was back in Atlanta. I think I got some flowers or something like that, and asked her officially to date her. And that was just mad cool. And from that moment to this, we've been kicking it. And that's my girl. That's my boo. That's my love. That's my heart. I love the fact that we're friends like we are because we make each other better. She sees the blind spots that I have, and I see the blind spots that she has, and we pour into each other in ways that are beneficial and that build each other up. And I love it. I love it. And people are like, well, how you know she the one? I know that she's the one because I chose her, because I decided to marry her, and she said yes. If she said yes, then she's not only is she the one, she's my one. She's my one. And my search is over. And I just love the fact that I'm able to love her like I do. Like the Bible says that husbands ought to love their wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her, washing her with the water of the word. And so it's my responsibility to cover her, to wash her, to make sure that I provide for her, to cultivate her, just to keep pouring love on her like Christ does for us, and removing the spots and the wrinkles, and that's my job, and it is an honor to do that. So in this Bible Bro Relationship Edition, I honor my wife. Sweet baby, I love you. I miss you. Wish you were here, or I wish I was there, but be home soon. But I thank God for you. I appreciate you for your patience with me. I appreciate you for your patience with you. I appreciate you for your ability to keep yourself while you were single from being one of these social media thirsty looking ladies that getting on there showing all their body and stuff like that. And I appreciate you for not being that person and fortifying your heart. I appreciate you for being unapproachable to a lot of people, or to anybody, for the season being, because you allowed God to hide you for me. I appreciate you for the experiences that you've had in your previous relationships that have taught you and to who you are, and has taught you to be careful to preserve and to protect your heart. But I also appreciate you for trusting me to give your heart to me. Thank you for even the challenges that we have had, and your willingness to walk with me through the hard seasons, your willingness to bring our issues to a counselor that we trust, your willingness to run the risk of being wrong, but expressing your heart and recognizing, allowing me to express mine. Thank you for forgiving me when I mess up. Thank you for being forgiven when you do. I appreciate you. I love you, and I celebrate you all the way over here in St. Petersburg, Russia. I'm thinking of you. I'm not, you know me, girl. I'm spending my time, doing the shows. I'll sign autographs and hug the people, take pictures or whatever. But after the show, I'm making a beeline back to this room so I can talk to my baby. It's all about you. My heart is yours. I love you. I value you. I appreciate you. And I promise to continue to cultivate you. I promise to continue to make room and to fertilize your dreams, the soil of your dreams, and to water your dreams. I promise to continue to protect you, to cover you, to be a good covering for you, never to abuse my God-given authority in our family structure to cause you to be subservient to me, or to I promise not to manipulate the authority that I have in our home to get you to do what I want you to do, but to pour into your dreams, to pour into you the things that you desire, the things that you haven't even figured out yet. I promise to be patient with you, to be gracious towards you, to think of you, to be proactively thinking about ways that I can make your life better. I made your dad a promise. I made you a promise to do you good all the days of your life. That is my purpose. my motto for being with you, and ain't nothing changed, boo. I'll be home soon. Yeah, you already know. Love you, girl. Hey, man, and if you feel this way about your boo thing, then tell her. Let her know. Take your phone out and do a little quick video for her and send it to her and say, just tell her those things in your heart that you might not have said in a minute. She needs to hear how much you love her. She needs to hear how much you appreciate her. She needs to hear that she's still the number one, the only woman in your life. So, fellas, I'm challenging you. Take your phone out. Do a video. Go sit down somewhere, do a video, and send it to your wife. And other fellas, I'm challenging you. Stay out of other women's DMs if you married. Don't do that stuff. Don't even get me started on that. I apologize that I went there that fast. But honor your woman. Honor your wife, man. Send her some flowers just because. Make sure that she knows it with a dozen roses and flower from your heart. Sing a song, do something stupid. Take your phone out, sing a video to her. My Cherie Amor, day. Send it to her. Let her know that she's special. If the only thing that comes as a result of that is her knowing that you took the time to do that, then it's well worth it. Love your wife as Christ loved the church. Give yourself for her. And watch him make your relationship the best thing that's ever happened to you. This is Khristian Dentley. Thank you for joining me for this very special edition of Bible Bro Relationship Edition. And please like, share, subscribe, share this video, post this mug, and let's make these relationships stronger. Men, let's take responsibility for the relationships that we're in and cultivate those things into something that's absolutely beautiful. All right, I love you guys. Peace.
Thank you so much for watching Bible Bro Relationship Edition. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll know when we post new episodes.